Well, in the amount of time you spent on special teams at fall camp, what are your early thoughts on where you guys are at?
Yeah, no, I think we did heavy special teams day to day, just more depth overall. You can see that throughout the four core, kickoff return, punt return. Obviously, there's been some preseason accolades, for our return specialists, and so we got some athletes back there, just getting the guys in the right places and seeing segment-wise strengths and weaknesses. And Saturday we'll get into some live work, and I think that's when we'll really see personnel-wise how it manifests itself.
Now you've seen some of the younger players, some of the players who maybe haven't had the chance to start on special teams yet, have go through summer after workouts. Is there anyone that's standing out to you that you feel like could be contributing on this team?
Yeah, I think you saw it like with Alex Kilgore last year. I think Brandon Booker's in the same mold. I would be shocked if he's not a heavy contributor early and often on multiple units there. That's one guy who stands out. Obviously, you got some new transfers, and you lose track of who's a new guy at this point in time after the summer now. But Booker's a guy that I think we should keep an eye on, definitely.
What are some of the things you worked on in the offseason or as a staff overall, just to fine-tune things? Any major changes schematically or things like that?
Not really. Just obviously you do self-scout in the summer. There's areas that we need to improve on. There's areas on teams that we were really good at. There's areas we need to get better at. Punt's an area we want to improve on. Obviously, we're spending a lot of time on punt. Spend a lot of time on everything, really. And so schematically, no. Just getting new personnel in there, and then really going heavy on us, focusing on us, and then we'll worry about Nevada and those guys later on in camp.
How much does a guy like Brashard coming in help maybe turn things more positively on kick return?
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that we're still all the other 10 guys are going to have to do their job. He's no different. He's no different than anybody else in the country. What he does do is, the scouting report for our early opponents are very aware of who's back there, and that might change what they do. But Brashard, from running back, I know we'll talk probably about running backs in a second, but Brashard he's been great early on, been very pleased with him. And it's a role that not only Brashard really is trying to be getting reps on, but other guys too are they're coming and knocking on my door and saying, Coach, I want to return kicks. And sometimes it's like a linebacker joking around. I'm like, all right, get out of my office. But there are some candidates skill-wise that Brashard's not going to take every rep on kickoff.
Coach Preston Stone,
Yes, I had a year with him as an analyst there with Coach last year. Yep.
And how does that help at all, having that relationship?
Well, when we recruited him, it really helped us because we had, he was a freshman with us pre-COVID, and so we had him. He was in that COVID class. We got him to Miami. He was a contributor early on. He's obviously, you see in his career, he's been a steady contributor. So in the recruiting process, we really didn't know position-wise early. He was a slot guy, a return specialist at Miami. And I got to be the running backs coach, and that happened. And it was a conversation Coach Lashley and I had saying, hey, he's such a dynamic athlete. Let's find a place for him. And so the personalities of him and I mesh well. We get after each other, and so it's going to be fun. It has been fun. It's going to be fun to coach him this year.
What have you seen this offseason from Colin? And as he enters his third year, I know he battled kind of some injury stuff, but kind of as he's now fully healthy, third year as he's kind of really taken ownership.
I think where you saw Colin maturity-wise merge was after that first, I think it was 2 of 5 in his first couple games last year, kicking field goals, and just came on. And then building off that season, having a strong off season, we brought in Coach Casey Horney to work with a specialist, and he's been great, and Colin has been great subsequently. And so far this camp, I don't think he's missed a field goal. Past like 52 yards, something like that. So he needs to mature. He's got to mature, as a person too, and he's doing that. He knows that.
When you look at the running back room and you bring back your top 3 guys, how do you make sure that the room's still elevating, still getting better year on year?
Yeah, it has to. They know they have to because there's a lot of competition for reps, and over the course of the game, we want to have 80 offensive plays. Even if you divide that by 4 and everyone gets 20, where are the touches going to be? And so it's a challenge for them to know what we're doing, not have any busts on the assignments and the offense. And then they know every day they come out here, they got to push each other because each one of them has different strengths, different weaknesses, but they're all experienced. They all have the potential to be explosive. And so that room, I think, it's just a matter of them wanting each other to have success, and then that group will raise and our offense will raise because of it.
What is kind of maybe their early pecking order, or anyone that's really stepped up into the way you want them to so far?
Honestly, I think all of them have done what they needed to do. I think we came into camp and said we have 4 good backs, and so it's going to be a situation where we get into that first game. Who's hot? You know, we want to ride a hot hand, and I don't think we'll have a starter per se for game 1. But I think as you get into the season, you guys, you know, watching the games will be able to see, okay, this is kind of what's happening rep-wise. This is kind of what's happening rotation-wise. And then the cream rises to the top there. And you got some guys who can do different things and do different things in our offense too.
Yeah. How does leadership kind of fall into that when you've got experienced guy like Bashard coming in and 3 guys who were on this team last year and all had, you know, big moments? How does leadership kind of build in that work?
Challenging them all to be themselves. You know, LJ Johnson's a quiet guy who's just going to come out here and work. Challenging Rooster to be the energy guy he is. And so it's like the 4 of them as a whole have the leadership that would be what you want from one guy. And so collectively as a group, we just have to bring good energy every day. And I'm challenging those guys to be tough and to be disciplined. And so, you know, that may have lacked it in the past a little bit. Just a little bit of toughness and discipline that we're trying to harp in that group, Coach Foster and I.
With the rotation, what is kind of your mentality and approach to a rotation with the backs? I know you want a hot hand, but do you kind of go drive by drive, or you know, do you want to give guys, you know, multiple drives to try and get into a rhythm?
I think that's a good question, and I think it's gonna be game by game. I think it's gonna be, we're gonna go at the first game. If we go at that first drive and that guy's hot, then he'll get a second drive. If we go at that first drive and we kind of fluster a little bit, we'll try and see if we can get another hand. And so it's just gonna be adaptive in the rotation. You know, I know I'm giving you a little bit coach speak, but they can do all the things that we want to do on our offense. And so let's make sure we get through camp healthy, and so we have 4 weapons that we can roll out there.
Best part of training camp so far?
Oh gosh, the competition on OD. I mean, it's almost at times where we've had to rein it in. You know, in team meetings, show good clips of offense, good clips of defense, because it really is almost ultra competitive. We take it from the field to the locker room, and there's no physical things happening there, because it's so physical here, and they know when they break as a team, like, hey man, we're boys, we're still all teams. So, but I would say the competition, like, and the talk, like, and being able to back up the talk, because there's a lot of guys who are loud on our field.
Well, how do you feel about the pass protection from your back so far? I know that defensive front, sometimes guys got to step into some big guys.
Yeah, I think if we can protect our defense, we can protect a lot of teams in this country. And so our guys are getting a good challenge, every day, even in individual, working with Coach Crum and the linebackers. Like I told Coach Crum yesterday, we went 0 for 2 on Kobe Wilson on pass protection. He got us twice. He got Rooster and he got LJ. It's not acceptable. And so those guys have a challenge, and that's the competitive nature we just talked about. Say, hey, tomorrow, and I want you to go in the hallway when you see Kobe Wilson and tell him it's not going to happen tomorrow. Okay, they'll open that mantra like, we got to go to the next play, but also we can't let two bad plays stack on top of each other. And then, physically we should be able to block people.
For you, what's it like being back on offense after a couple years here on defense? And you were with running backs your first stint here.
Yeah.
Just kind of what's it like getting back in that groove and all that again?
It was weird. It was my first day back on offense was like, you flash back to 2021 when you're going in that room and Coach Lashley and Coach Likens and Coach Justice are there, and you're like, okay, it's just kind of a seamless transition, to the point where Coach Lashley and those guys had to remind themselves that I don't know what plays you put in the last 2 years. You're speaking a different language. Catch me up, I'll catch up, but it's been really good. And then the running backs, man, it's a unique group always, because they they do different jobs, kind of like the linebackers on defense. They do different jobs, but they want love too. And so it's just managing personalities and saying, hey, we need to have team success, because they all have career aspirations, and that involves getting good film and just making sure they have the trust in myself, Coach Foster, who's helping me with running backs, that we have their best interests. And I think we're there right now.